Welcome to a dose of deeper contemplation. We have cultivated this self-healing practice as we navigate the many aspects of modern life with the desire to be a better human. As a psychic medium, these conversations are channeled, so let's take a walk together and talk it out. We just read this quote, "Human nature is like water. It takes the shape of its container." We had to read it a few times, actually. And even now we're repeating it to put this lens, let's put this lens around humanity. Humanity is like water. Human nature, the nature of the human is to take the shape of its container. In so many ways, that sounds like conformity. In so many ways, that sounds like unity. What's interesting to think about conformity, because we've usually been in the understanding around this word, is not something that we're really into. Conforming is boring. Doing the same thing that everyone else is doing because they're being told to do it has been our understanding of conformity. And that's really boring overall life. We prefer to dwell outside of the container. However, in this contemplation, we started asking the question, okay, the shape of the container. What shapes the container? What makes up the container? What are the elements of the container? What are the elements of the construct? And that if we simply create the container for the existence that we desire, it is human nature to conform, flow in to the shape of that container, to the shape of the life that you desire. So we put ourselves in this contemplation. And to see this knowledge or wisdom, or this way of understanding an aspect of being human, we put it into play for ourselves. And using the tool of human nature, then what would our container look like? What is the shape of that container? It's so many things. But an overall feeling to that existence each day is living in peace, living in what we feel as joy, satiating the passions, fulfilling the visions, feeling guided and on point in that guidance. These are the experiences so far that have been amazing, and we would just like a container of amazingness. And there are so many levels to that, because life right now is amazing. It is amazing in so many ways. It is amazing in so many ways. And there are clearly some things that are going on that could use some adjustments, that could shift a different shape and become a different container. What is the container of your life? How have you created it? How have you shaped it? What are the elements? In our years as a professional organizer, we are very familiar with containers, very familiar. Not everyone will understand this reference, but there used to be this television show, this series called Cheers. And Cheers was about a community of folks, and they all hung out at the local bar. And then we just followed all the shenanigans and storylines and all that stuff along the way. One character's name was Norm. And whenever Norm would walk in the door, the entire bar would go, "Norm!" And he would be greeted because he was the regular and he was there all the time and everyone knew it. It was the norm for Norm to be at Cheers. So we share this story because that was very similar for our experience whenever we walked into the Container Store in our years and years of being a professional organizer, and became very familiar and friendly with the individual team members there, and would walk in and be greeted by name. We brought a lot of containers into folks' lives over the years. And what does that container provide? It provides support. It provides structure. It provides order. And also for many folks, it provides beauty. There are just some of us who see a shelf with beautiful containers on it and we're like, that is art. Or at least that's how we feel about our organizing. Our organizing is like art to us. What are some elements within your container that you could bring some order to? What is the energy of order? Divine universal order. The universe is in a constant state of expansion. And what expansion can look like is a series or a sequence of deconstruction and reconstruction, and deconstruction and reconstruction. That's reflected around us so much in nature here on Earth. You can see plant life deconstruct, return into the earth, and then reconstruct as a new plant. And in that process is this beautiful order that comes into place in order for that deconstruction, reconstruction, death, rebirth cycle of expansion. Being human is no different. Journey is very similar. And in between the deconstruction and the reconstruction is where we can bring order, where we can see, oh, you know what, in this deconstruction, that wasn't really working, and that wasn't really working, and that wasn't really working for us. We weren't thriving. We weren't in our purpose, starting to actually just feel like chaos. So we remove some of those things. We create space for new things, or we just create space. I often reassure my clients that once we have finally created space in their homes, we've emptied the drawers, we've emptied the shelves in the closets, and you can see the shelf, or you can see a part of the bottom of the drawer, or you have an entirely empty cabinet now. We encourage them to say and to understand, hey, you know, it's okay to just have space. You don't have to fill it with something else. It actually feels good. It can feel good to feel like, you know what, I have space around me. I have space in my house. I have space in my closet. I have space in my drawer. I have space within myself. And that using order to help create that space is a very helpful tool. Let the container of your life be under an examination. The symbology with organizing is just amazing at this point, because this is a process we would do. We take a container off of a shelf. It is filled with all sorts of stuff. And the client looks at it, is like so overwhelmed, like, oh, I don't know what's in there. I don't know. Oh, I don't want it stressing me out. Yes, yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. But you know what? We are going to deconstruct it with you, and we take that bin and we dump it out. And we start to sort through and bring into order all of the things that were in that bin. And once things start to come into order, the client's like, oh, now I see, now I can make sense. Now it feels a little bit better. Great. Let's evaluate these things. You don't need that? Great. You don't need that? Great. You don't need that? Great. You use that? Great. You want to keep that because you love it? Like really, 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 really love it? Like really love it? Great. I need like 4 or 5 reallys though. Now there's, oh, it's fine. I guess I like it. But those things that are in that bin, those elements of your life that you are a yes to, like a resounding yes, great. That's what's going to start to shape your container. We're going to organize the stuff, put it back in the bin, start to create that space, start to create that flow, create the space to feel the energy that flows through life, and that we are a part of that energy and that journey. And we can take this awareness and use human nature as a tool that, when guided into the container, it takes on its shape, it takes on its purpose. It receives the connections. It conforms to the shape of the energy that you have created, the container of your life. Human nature is to conform to the container. Human nature is like water. So what if human nature is like water? What if we guided that natural energy into the shape of a life we would really love to live? Thank you for being in this contemplation with us. This is Deep Dose, and we are Eden.